a special treat for you. When Mohammed said he's going to make this the most prestigious event in Kuwait, he meant what he said. And we actually have a very special presenter for us today. Very excited to see him present as well, too. You know, as we gather back, we want to turn our attention to a topic that sits at the core of organizational success, employee engagement, more importantly, the human side of engagement. So our keynote speaker has built a global reputation around this philosophy. He's a strategist, a researcher, a leadership advisor, and a coach who has guided executives and organizations across multiple regions to rediscover the true meaning of performance. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in giving a warm and respectful welcome to, and before I introduce, maybe we can give him a special, our new clap for Kuwait City. So please join me in giving a warm and respectful welcome to the business strategist and executive leadership coach, Dr. Corrie Block. All right. That was good. Good job.
Hi, I'm here.
Woo!
Have you got the clicker?
Yes, sir.
Fabulous.
There you go.
I don't think we've met before. I'm Corrie.
No, I'm you.
Hi,
Pleasure
It's
to
good
meet
to see you. You guys all right? Is everybody good? Amazing. I'm really excited to be here. Gotham, I know you're in the back there somewhere. Can you grab that bag of 5 books? There should be 3 businesses personal, 1 love at work, and 1 chief executive coach, because I want to give some of those away at the end of this to the best 5 questions. So whoever's got the best questions at the end of this, you're going to get your book. Now, today we're going to talk about 3 things: meaning, connection, and fulfillment. And these all are based on evolutionary psychology and neuroscience. And the reason we're going to talk about these is because they're absolutely free to implement. If we understand how to implement them really well, this is a 0 budget line item that's going to make a massive difference on your bottom line. And isn't that what you want, right? Oh, HR is always strapped for cash. We never get our budgets approved. So if we can figure out some way to do what we need to do and make more money and prove that we're making more money and do it for free, I think we should do it, don't you? Good. Meaning. How do we create meaning at work? What makes your work meaningful? Sense of belonging. Perfect. That's great. Anyone else? Purpose. Sense of purpose. Awesome. I love it. Anyone else? Creating value. Yes, absolutely. I hear you. This is amazing. It's great because in psychology, we have 2 different ingredients in meaning. When we look at human meaning from a psychological standpoint, we're looking at purpose, which is the need to do. All humans need to do, and you are the product of 1,000,000 years of successful human doing. That's how we built the pyramids. That's how we got to the moon. Okay, that's how we're going to get to Mars, is by doing stuff. And it's not enough just to do stuff, because, you can dig a hole and fill it in again. That's doing. But we need what we do to matter, and that's significance. So the combination in psychology is purpose and significance. That's what we're looking for when we're creating human meaning. And you know how much meaning is worth? Do you know it's worth money, right? You don't know. Oh, I'll help you. Because I think anything that any human being, human not resource, human definitely not capital, I think anything that any sacred being does with half of their life every day should be as meaningful as possible. You don't know how many days Allah has given you in your life. You just know that once today is over, it is never, ever coming back. And I think that anything that you do with half of your life every day should be as meaningful as possible. And I think that's true of every one of your employees. Every one of them, every single member of your economic tribe is a sacred human, not resource. And if we do it, if we find this meaning, if we find the meaning, we make money. The Better Up study found that 90% of employees who find their work meaningful are willing to work for 23% less. And that doesn't mean you should pay them less. That's mean. Don't do that, okay? That's not fun, right? The irony is actually, though, even though they're willing to work for less, we end up paying them more. Do you know why? Because they put in more time, more effort, a week of discretionary effort every year on average. They take 2 less leave days every year on average. So even though they are willing to work for less, we give them more. They have more opportunities for advancements and raises because there's more discretionary effort. They're more engaged. They find their work more meaningful. And the Gallup study from 2019, have you read it? It's like 450 pages. You read it? You're the only one, you and me. You should read it. I mean, the Gallup study and Work Rules are the 2 best HR books of the last 5 years. It's brilliant. Anyway, but the Gallup study found that those companies, and we're talking 1.4 million employee records, okay, 147 different industries, 50,000 business units, found that those companies whose employees find their work more meaningful, they, on average, have 41% less absenteeism and 59% less turnover. They're 17% higher performing, and they're 21% more profitable. But the most shocking part of all of this is that all of these benefits that come down to, like $9,000 per employee per year, all of these benefits for the organization, 70% of the variance on all of them comes down to the level of connection there is in a single relationship in the company. Do you know which one it is? Anyone want to guess? That's it. It's the manager. That's actually the title of the book, the Gallup study, if you've read it. The big 450-page study is called It's the Manager. From a neuroscience standpoint, what we're looking for is the chemical form of connection. Do you know how humans connect in the brain? Remember what the name of the chemical is? Have you heard it? Oxytocin. So from a scientific perspective, what you're looking for is the level of oxytocin that is flowing in the mind of their employee when they are making eye contact with their direct line manager. Because 70% of the variance on all of those engagement benefits comes down to that level of oxytocin. And 70% of 21% is 14.7% of your net profit. Comes down to whether or not an employee is producing oxytocin in their brain when they make eye contact with their direct line manager. That's a pretty important stat, don't you? Don't you agree? Every industry, it's funny because we take the game so seriously. We take banking seriously. We take FMCG seriously. We take football seriously. I can't take football seriously. It's a made-up game, okay? There's a bunch of adults kicking a ball in this direction while a bunch of other adults kick another one, in this direction. And it's made up. We made up the game. It's a silly game. How many players are there in a football field? There's 11, right? Yeah, how many are on a team? Think bigger. Social media strategists, equipment managers, lawyers, and physiotherapists. Yeah, there's about 2,000 members on an average Premier League football team. The most important, interesting question from an evolutionary psychological standpoint is how many families are fed every year because the game of football exists? That is an interesting question. And that's just a game with a ball and grass. That's human innovation. We made up a game where we could kick a ball around and feed millions and millions of families and educate millions and millions of kids and put gas in cars and food on plates and pay for vacations and help people to retire at a reasonable age. That's what makes it meaningful. The game isn't sacred. The game is made up. Aviation, FMCG, luxury, shoes, all of it. We made it up. We made most of it up within the last 100 years. And most of the rules by which we play those games we've made up in the last 20 years. And the rules were made up by people not smarter than you because they wrote them yesterday and you've got access to today's information. We take the game so seriously. And I think that's where we go wrong. We take the game really seriously and we don't take the players seriously enough. The game is made up, but the players are sacred. Not resources, not capital. If we remember that we made up the game, but that the players, every single one of them, is the product of 10,000 iterations of a successfully improving survival and adaptation machine. If we remember how sacred they are, if we remember how the time that they're investing with us in this economic game is never going to come back to them, if we remember the sacredness of the lives that are in our care, then we can play. Then the game becomes fun again, and I'll tell you how to do this. I'll tell you how to do it for free. And you're going to have to look outside of roles and responsibilities for this, because you need to be able to help your employees to answer two questions. One, why are you here and not somewhere else? You could be playing on a different team in a different game. You could be playing a different position, okay? But you're not. You're not playing any of those positions on those teams in those games. You're playing this one, and this is where you are. Why are you here and not somewhere else? And the answer to this question is not found in their roles and responsibilities. It's not even found in their remuneration package. The answer is that this is the best, fastest, most effective way for them to reach their personal goals for their personal life, no matter what it is. Career trajectory, you want to buy a Bugatti at some point, you want to pay for your kids' education at the university of their choice, whatever, it doesn't matter. Your goals are outside of the company. No one wakes up passionate about the products or services of the organizations that they work for. Not even you. That's what everybody knows and nobody says out loud. We're all there for reasons that have nothing to do with the ball or the grass. We're there to win. We're there to have a good time. We're there to advance ourselves, pay for our families, retire at a reasonable age, build some wealth, and we're just playing games together to do it. That's the reality. The reality is everybody shows up to work for reasons that have nothing to do with the organization at all. That is the truth. And the sooner you get it out, the more trust you're going to build with that transparency. Second question is even more interesting. Why are you here and not someone else? Because, you know, I know your mom said you were special, but we're not that special. Right? Everybody's, look, there's 1,000 people with a CV just as strong as yours. None of them are sitting in your chair. So why is it you and not someone else? Did you think about this? It's interesting, right? Because when we interview for jobs, we would never waste our time interviewing people that we know are not qualified, right? So everyone that was considered for your job was qualified. But none of them were chosen. What do we do with qualified people? We don't hire them. That would be too easy. We could just, take 500 CVs from the ATS, prioritize the top 10 most qualified, send out offer letters to all of them. The first one that responds gets the job. That is the most efficient way to hire people, but that's not what we do. What do we do with qualified CVs? What do we do with qualified people? We don't hire them. We talk to them. Why? Because we're not looking for a qualified person. We're looking for a kind of qualified person. That is not on your CV. And there's no section for good fit on your LinkedIn profile. And this is true of everybody in every organization all over the world. It's a really cool phenomenon. We fundamentally in our companies do not hire qualified people. We hire a kind of qualified person. You sat across the table from somebody that represented that economic tribe and they said, she's a good fit. He's the kind of person that we're looking for. It was not on your CV. And it is not on your LinkedIn profile, and that is the truth. The truth is you show up to work for reasons that have nothing to do with your company, and you were chosen for that tribe for reasons that have nothing to do with your CV. Weird, right? Humans are weird. We're amazing, weird, awesome, fun, okay, but also kind of mean and terrible to each other sometimes. So it's not enough just to find the map of meaning. We have to be able to connect with each other if we're going to play well on teams. If we're going to play these made-up games and do it well enough to make money, we're going to have to connect with each other. So let's connect. I'm from Dubai. I've been in Dubai 13 years now. My sheikh said, it's easy to rule through fear, but it takes a rare leader to rule through love. And I hate that he said that because it's super unprofessional. Now, I was raised in a really loving home. I know it's not everybody's story, but I was raised in a really loving home. So I was told that I was loved every day. Love you, Corrie. Love you, Corrie. And my dad, give me a big hug. Love you, Corrie. And I'm like, Dad, I'm 50 years old now. This needs to stop. It's embarrassing. Okay? You give me a hug all the time. I was raised in a loving home, and I went to church on Sundays, and I was told to love my neighbor as myself, and we were told to love one another, right? So I was raised to think that the world was generally a kind of loving place. But then I grew up, and I became an adult, realized that it was all just a really big lie. Because when you grow up, you got to get a job. And then you're supposed to spend half of your life every day with a bunch of people that you are not supposed to love. And by mistake, if you end up loving any of those people, you should definitely never tell them. Because that would be deeply, deeply unprofessional. So there I was, 30 years in corporate life, secretly loving people, never telling them, until one day. I was restructuring a $600 million fashion company based in Dubai, and I was on the phone with the CEO. I was outside by my car, and he was upstairs in the office, and we were just closing off some stuff, end of a Friday. We were going to make some announcements on Monday that were really going to hurt some people that we cared about. We were thinking through the most empathetic way to make these announcements, because it was tough. It was really hard decisions. At the end of the conversation, about 45 minutes, I wasn't really thinking. I was kind of connected, and I was, got a little emotional. I said, "Good work. See you on Monday. I love you." No! Like, I was freaking out, right? I'm panicking on the inside, and I'm reaching down to push the little red button to close off the call, and then I heard it. I heard it through the speaker, okay? His voice. It was small. It was quiet, but it was very clear. "Good work, Corrie. See you Monday. Love you too." We never spoke of it again. We're still friends. Why not? Why don't we talk about that? Why is it that the highest potential quality of human relationship is intentionally exiled from the place where we spend the most time with other humans? Why is that? Why is it that every leadership book I read has a higher form in this form? Why is that? Why is it that I can read books by Stephen Covey on trust, but none by Stephen Covey on the highest form of trust, which is love? Why do I read everything there is written by Amy Edmondson on psychological safety, but nothing from Amy Edmondson on the highest form of psychological safety, which is also love? Why do I read everything from Simon Sinek on empathy and leadership, but nothing from Simon Sinek on the highest form of empathy, which is also love? Why is that? That doesn't make sense to me at all. It's not spiritual, okay? Love is not a spiritual concept here. It's not philosophy. It's an evolutionary psychological best practice for survival that bonds humans to each other. It's what? Bias. Yes, it's a bias. It's a default to trust, to shared values, to belonging on teams, to discretionary effort, to it's safe to make a mistake with me. It's a bias toward all of those things. Yes. Yes. But it's also a really confusing word, I can say I love chocolate, and that's a true statement. I also love Matt Damon. I've never met him, but pretty sure I love Matt Damon. I think he would like me too. And I love my children, okay? So on the casual side, I love chocolate. On the committed side, I love my children. I do anything for my kids. Somewhere in between there, we got to be able to find a word, right, that represents love in the office, because we're letting money go when we don't do this. Oh, I know, you're confused by the word, that's it. Because if I approach you in the office and I say, "Hey, I love you," you're going to say, "Well, what do you mean by that?" Right? Neither of the ends of this spectrum have anything to do with romance, and sexual harassment has nothing at all to do with love. So, where's the problem? I'm a little confused by all of this, Why is it that we can't or won't talk about love in the office? What I'm not confused about is the science about what it's costing us. Humans with low job control have a 21% higher hazard of death in general, and a 50% higher hazard of death of heart disease specifically than people with a high job control. Those are people who have a lot less control over what they do and how they do it for work. That's the human cost of low job control. The financial cost, there was a study of 400 different companies, each with 100,000 or more employees in it, that found that in those companies, on average, they're losing $62 million a year just to misunderstandings. And that's just humans not feeling understood, okay? And if we want people to feel loved, they're first going to have to be valued. And if we want them to feel valued, they're going to have to be understood. And if we want them to feel understood, they're going to have to be heard. And if we want them to be heard, they're going to have to be included. And I know as HR professionals, we talk a lot about equity and diversity and inclusion these days, but that is the baseline here. That means you're present and you feel safe to be present. That's where we got to start, you know, if we're going to get all the way up to this highest level of performance. We're finding scientifically that if we treat humans like humans and not like resources, they live happier, healthier, and now we know longer lives. We can actually add days, weeks, months, years to each other's lives by helping them to feel cared for and taken care of and loved in the workplace. We know this, and we still can't do it. Those companies that do, anybody got a best friend in the office? You got a bestie at work? Work spouse? Anybody got a work spouse? Yeah. It's not romantic. It's like your spouse, but it's transparency and loyalty, not romance, right? It's great. It's great. You know those companies that have, if a company with 40% of their employees saying they've got a best friend at work would raise that to 60%, their bottom line benefit impact would be about 12%. That is the financial impact of people having a best friend at work. I think that's really cool, right? So a couple of years ago, I wanted to do something about this, and I started to sign off all of my emails, love Corrie. No more sincerely. No more warm wishes, no more best regards from me, no. To everyone. Strangers, vendors, suppliers, clients, members of the royal family, ministers of government in at least 5 different countries that I can think of. Nobody seems to mind. Nobody's reported me to any HR departments that I am aware of. I've been doing this for almost 3 years now. And honestly, I feel like the experiment's been a pretty big success, so I'm inviting you to join in. Oh, come on, what do you think is going to happen, right? If you just sign, what do you think if your table just signing off all of your emails, love? What if all of us started to do it? Or maybe 1 million of us started to do it, or 10 million. What do you think might happen then? Do you think it might erode our sense of commoditization of human resources? Do you think we could erode that a little bit? I think we could. I'm sure my bank manager is the most confused of all. I was really mad at him one day, and I wrote him a really angry email, and I could just picture him reading it like, love, Corrie. Yeah, good times. Look, I'm not saying you have to do it. I'm saying you're going to make more money if you do. Khalil Gibran once said that work is love made visible, and I completely agree with him. And if you get that meaning and that connection right, then you're going to have the ability to do fulfillment. The fulfillment is the high, hard things. When you feel most fulfilled at work, it's not just when you're having a great time. It's when you do something that's really hard and you get awarded for it. You accomplish something. And the most significant achievements I've had in my life didn't make me happy. Anybody got kids? Yeah, raising kids is hard, man. It's hard. Doing a PhD, hard. Writing a book, starting a company, all of those things. It was about 85% really hard work and maybe 15% pure joy. So I realized there's a pattern here. All the really fulfilling things are hard. Which means that if I'm pursuing happiness, which is actually really, really easy to get, happiness must be a distraction from fulfillment, which is really hard to get. If fulfillment is really hard and happiness is really easy. Happiness is easy, by the way. It's dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. That's the cocktail. You can trigger it pretty easily. You want to be happy? Eat a Big Mac. Watch Netflix. That'll make you happy. You want to live a fulfilling life? You're going to have to get to work. This is when you can set the high, hard goals. This is when you can set the big KPIs, and your people are not going to be overwhelmed or shocked, and they're not going to run away dismayed. They're going to look at that huge KPI with excitement. So a couple of years ago, it was embarrassing, actually. I was born with a phobia of heights. My ancestors saw fit to grace me with a phobia of heights. It's not snakes or spiders or anything like that, but heights. So anything over 2 meters. So I was hanging a picture in my house about 2 meters up, and I was going up to tap this thing in. sweating and shaking, and my wife comes up behind me, taps me on the leg. I come down. She grabs the hammer, runs up the ladder, and taps it and hangs the picture. In my own house. It was emasculating. I was like, it was so embarrassing. My wife is hanging pictures in my house. So I decided to cure my fear of heights by learning how to skydive. This picture was taken last Wednesday. That's me, by the way. This picture was taken last Wednesday. I've done 76 solo dives. And it's really, really fulfilling because I have the memory of being horrifically terrified in the beginning. I was terrified. I did it because I was terrified. I did it because it was hard. And those kinds of goals are the goals I want you to set for yourself. I want you to set high, hard goals for yourself that you're only 80% sure you can pull off. I want you to set something for yourself where you think, can you do it? Can you do it? Maybe. I don't know. But you're 80% sure, and that's good enough. In your organizations, if you help people to understand their meaning comes from things that are not in the organization and not on the CV. Their personal goals and their character and values. That's why they're here and not somewhere else, and why they're here and not someone else. And then you help them to connect as far up at that ladder as you can possibly get them, because that's when you get the highest level of discretionary effort and trust and collaboration. And once you get that right, the high, hard KPI is exciting. It's not overwhelming. That's the best of evolutionary psychology and neuroscience I can give to you. It makes a 14.7% net profit variance on your bottom line, and it is absolutely free to implement. Thank you so much for your time. It's really lovely to be here with you. Thank you. You don't think I can leave just yet? I'm pretty sure I'm out of time.
Oh, no, you're out of time, man. Thanks so much. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you, Dr. Block. Now it's time for more excitement and lucky draws. So let's welcome back. Oh, thank you.
That's yours.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you. Awesome.
Oh, you want to do it? Yeah,
Yeah.
let's do it.
Now it's time for lucky draws. Welcome back our Chief of Happiness, Mr. Abdulaziz.
Thank you, Hugh.
Yeah, you're the guy that...
And thank you
Yeah,
so
brother.
much, Dr. Corrie. It was a really inspiring and high-energy session.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And
I also had fun.
And thank you so much for giving our audience 5 copies of 3 different books.
Yep.
Now I'm having Chief Executive Coach, and there are 2 different copies with my colleague down.
Yeah.
And as it was a very engaging session, we will also do an engaging giveaway.
Yeah.
So for anyone who complained that I'm not lucky enough to win, this is your opportunity. So what we will do now is that the first 5 people that will ask Dr. Corrie a question.
It's got to be a good question. Don't just ask me what my
Exactly.
favorite cereal is. Okay, if you ask me a good question, I'll give you a book. How's that? Let's
We
do
already
that.
have one over there excited.
Okay, go.
Please, if you could give a mic. Yeah, 2 questions.
Yeah, go on.
Oh, okay. So if you would describe your happiest moment in life, what would it be?
Oh man, that's hard.
Oh,
It's hard.
It's a hard question.
It's such a hard question. I've been, my 2 wedding days, the days when my kids were born, I've got 5 kids. The days when they graduated and left the house, that's also really good days.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
and the day you
Yeah,
did the
learning to
first-
skydive, landing the first time. Falling is easy. Landing at the right speed is a trick.
Right. I'm sure.
Yeah, and you're alone from skydive number 1. From the first time you leave, right? There's nobody with you when you land. You have to be able to pull the parachute. They'll put you in the right position. But if something goes wrong with your parachute, that's it. It's you. You're alone because your instructors are trying to save their own lives at that point.
I'm sure.
So yeah, landing the first time, wouldn't say I was happy. I would say I was relieved. I was
Alhamdulillah.
relieved. Yeah.
We're glad you're here with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
really good.
Give her a look. And the second question was from you? Yeah.
The happiest moments are at the end of something hard. It's at the end of a long trip when I'm not happy. That's a long time of not being happy. That's when you're happiest. Yeah.
Okay.
When we're talking about the meaningful connection and fulfillment, how do you implement this in different cultures? If I send an email to one of our teams ending with love instead of regards, he might report it.
I know. It's so exciting.
How do you implement this in our culture?
Look, I understand the concern. A lot of people in this area of the world are using mahabba, and we call each other habibi anyway. So I don't think in Arabic there's a big deal. It's a much bigger deal in English because we've got one word. I'm a Canadian, right? I can think of 30 words for snow. I've got one word to describe love, everything from chocolate to my own children, including my wife. Like, that seems unfair. But you've got mahabba and you've got habibi, and you can use that. And it'll work. I'm not saying you have to do it. I'm just saying you're going to make more money if you do. All right? Let's put it that way. We've got a lot of banks in the room.
Great. And
Yeah? Good.
third questions from this gentleman. Sure. Mr. Ahmad.
تفضل. اتفضل.
So, again, happiness might be only for a few seconds. So to be more satisfied actually is more sustainable, let's say.
Do you have kids?
Yeah, sure.
Are you always happy with them?
No,
Do you love them when you're not happy with them?
no. Sometimes I hate them.
Look, love it's not philosophy, it's not spirituality for me. I want to take it away
know,
from
but
religion, right?
It's
It's an evolutionary psychological
I agree with
default
you,
mechanism.
but it is a momentum, let's say, period.
What's your name, brother?
Imad.
Imad. Imad? I want you to hear me right now, okay?
Yeah, sure.
I love you.
Thank you.
Yes. It's not weird unless you make it weird,
But
and we don't have to make it weird.
I know, but
I love you. It means you're going to
do
get...
you mean it?
Yes,
First of all.
yes.
No, I have doubts.
Okay, you can have doubts.
Yeah.
My wife has doubts
Because
sometimes
I just
too.
met you. How would you love me?
Yeah, really good. I understand what you're saying. Yes, I'm saying...
When you say to somebody, I love you,
Yes.
it should be for a certain things. You should mean it, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with
But
you.
to go, everybody, I love you. Do I mean it? That's
I
not-
hope so, because
No,
I
no,
do.
no. I respect them, but not necessarily love them.
I'll put it to you this way. This is what love is. Okay, it's reciprocal altruism
And
from an
even
evolutionary
for Sheikh
psychological
Mohammed
standpoint.
bin Maktoum,
Yeah.
ruled by love,
Yes.
I disagree.
I'm sure he would be very happy to hear your feedback.
Ruled by respect,
Yeah, he eats feedback for breakfast. He would be really
Yeah.
happy to hear it.
by all means.
Yeah.
We respect our royalty.
Yeah, yeah. I think he was right putting fear on one side and love on the other. Fear is momentary, and it's a good motivator. It really is. You yell at your kids, they'll do it. Okay? Right? But love is a better motivator. It's long-term, it's commitment. It means that they're going to do stuff that's in your best interest when you're not looking, which is 98% of the time. What do you think an apex predator is doing during the 98% of the time when they're not being managed? Whatever they want. They're an apex predator. Every single member of your organization is the product of 10,000 iterations of a successfully improving love machine. Their ancestors earned them the right to be born by knowing who loved them and knowing who didn't. Those are the people you share your resources with. You provide for them, protect them when they're not looking. You've got their back when something goes wrong. You pool together your resources when there's opposition, when there's flood, famine, war, disease, all the stuff that your ancestors went through to earn you the right to be born. They survived those things by knowing who to trust. We call that love, and that is what we've kicked out of the office.
If someone betrayed you, would you love him still?
Yes,
Come on.
it depends.
No, it depends.
I've had
You
people
just
betray
answered
me.
it depends.
Yeah, I've had people betray me, and it doesn't mean I don't love them. And sometimes I even understand why they did it. They're broken. They're going through something in their life.
But here I'm not to found excuse to everybody. If
You're-
somebody betrayed me, I cannot love them.
You remind me of. I'm sorry, I don't know who you are, and I don't know what your position is. I was doing an executive offsite for the 17 GCXOs of a major world multinational bank. Okay, you would know the bank if I told you, so I'm not going to tell you. But in the middle of this, like I was doing it was a full day on love-based leadership. And about, I don't know, 3 hours in, the GCEO of this bank, he stood up and he said, well, Dr. Corrie, what if we're not comfortable? And I said, what do you mean? He says, well, you know, the whole love thing, what if we're just not comfortable with it? And I said, well, you don't have to do it, right? But you'll make more money if you do. This is the science behind love at work. And we know the science is that if you do it, your people will live happier, healthier, longer lives, and you'll make more money. And you're a bank. So if you don't want to do it, that's fine. But that means that you value something more than people and more than money. And your shareholders would definitely want to know what that is. So the GCFO lost it. He just started laughing. And he was like, oh my goodness. And then this GCEO started laughing too. He was like, wow, right, got it, you know? And then he started to humanize the people that were in front of them. And then we started to talk about psychological safety on the executive committee. And that led to a whole day of other openness and transparency. It was brilliant. You don't have to do it. I'm not saying you have to.
No. I have no issue with it. But to me, I would love to finish my email with respect.
You may. Yeah. Perfect.
Good.
Thank you, Mr. Ahmad, and thank you, Dr. Corrie,
My
for
pleasure.
this
All the
conversation.
books are out?
No, of course, after this conversation, more people will come with more questions. So
course.
this gentleman will be standing for like
You
5
choose.
minutes. He want to ask a question.
So hi, this
Hi.
is Mahesh.
Hi, Mahesh.
And
I love you, Mahesh.
Thank you. I too love you.
Thank you. See how much better that is? Go.
You said about meaning, connection, and fulfillment.
Yes.
And all this was focused on high, hard goals.
Yeah.
How do you be committed when you start a high, hard goal? We start with 100%, but we end up with 20 or 30% being committed. How do you be committed to the goals?
That's a really good question. And as an executive coach, that's my job, is to help people to be committed to goals. One of the easiest, fastest ways for you to be committed is to have external accountability. It raises the chances of you accomplishing anything by 63%. All you have to do is say it out loud to somebody that's going to ask you what you're doing about it. That's it. If you have some sort of accountability cycle, then your chances of accomplishing anything go up massively. My recommendation is to try something that you're only about 85% confident that you can do. Okay? Then, if you do it, you're going to get a massive confidence boost because you did it. And remember, you're an apex predator, Mahesh. Honor your ancestors. Honor the men and women in your line that earned you the right to be born by doing hard things, by surviving scarcity and violence that you will never experience. We don't have to do what our ancestors did in order to survive when we live in the most abundant time in all of human history, and we're the latest iteration of a million-year-old improving design. I think that's a miracle. I think it's a miracle that you're here. Honor them by doing something difficult with your life.
Thank you.
Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. So we got one last copy.
Up to you.
And please.
Okay, my name is Ajibola.
How do I pronounce that?
Ajibola.
Ajibora.
Yeah, thank you.
My pleasure.
Yeah, I want to get your perspective as regards laying off or terminating an underperforming employee as a display of love.
Absolutely, yes. Yes, there's a way to do this, okay?
Good.
Remember, if somebody's underperforming, they're not in the right place. First of all of you all come from ancestry, right? Think back to your ancestors. The tribe is more important than any single member of the tribe, including the chief. Okay, keep that in mind. Sometimes people need to be facilitated out. The good news is that you don't have to kick them out of the tribe because that would have been fatal. You can help them to move from one economic engine to another economic community. You know what I mean? If somebody is underperforming and they're chronically underperforming, they're stealing from the tribe. That's not right.
Yeah.
Also, they're wasting a good portion of their life that they're never going to get back. We can honor them by, not by firing them, by dehiring them, helping them to move into another economic community where they're thriving. There's another economic community out there where where they will feel like they are valued and making a contribution, you know? And as they're sitting in this place where they're not performing and we're doing our best and we really have done our best to help them to develop, not only is that other community being robbed of their passion and their stewardship, But our community is being robbed by the passion and stewardship of some great stranger out there that we haven't met yet. That's somebody else's chair. Out there is somebody who is not just a great fit, but passionate and wants to develop and wants to be in that chair and wants to play really well with us. Make sense?
Yes,
We're ruining lots of lives by facilitating that.
So when you're showing love to someone, it means that you can put that person through a temporary pain for a greater good.
Yes. I think Laszlo Bach was right about this. Hire slow, fire fast.
Good.
Right? And I do coaching at the C-level at MasterCard. It's 9 months and at least 5 interviews. They hire slow, really slow. But once they get people in, they're a good fit. We know, there's lots of buy-in, and people are excited to work there because it's hard. And they're only excited because it's hard because they belong to each other. There's really great connection.
Beautiful.
Make sense?
Thank you.
Yeah, if you have to let somebody go, help them to find another community. De-hire them.
Good.
Thank you so much, Dr.
My pleasure. My
Thank
pleasure.
you,
I've taken up enough of your time.
No.
I'll be in the back. Come and say hi to me, okay? I love you. Just in case nobody else tells you today, I love you.